All right. I'd like to welcome everybody to Pages of Rock Bottom. This edition is Married to Addiction. Of course, I'm the guest host, Jay. This is Matt and Kim. Tonight, we're going to talk about what it takes for two people in recovery to have a healthy relationship or life together. But before we get to it, we've got to do a trigger warning.
Woo! Trigger warning. So tonight's episode will contain profanity first and foremost. We're going to be talking about substance use, probably like some abuse and anything realistically that's happened in our past. So just be gentle with yourselves, guys. And take a break if you guys need to. So, and there is your trigger warning.
It's going to be a pretty easy show tonight. This is going to be a good one.
Gonna be a good one.
So,
I'm going to share it out so you can start with Matt if you want to.
okay. So let's just start off by saying, hey, relationships are hard anyway, right? I mean, if you talk, you go talk to an old timer that's been married 35, 40 years and you go, hey, what's it take to make a relationship work? Or what's it, how did you survive this long? He's going to tell you, it takes hard work. You got to work at it every day. You can't take your partner for granted. You got to keep it fresh, keep it new. You always got to keep a little bit of, got to keep that bank, that money saved up, and just in case your significant other runs into a garage door,
Yes.
or something like that. But whatever it is, it takes two people. It takes a lot of work. So what we're going to do tonight is I want to talk about maybe some of the myths and or struggles that people who are going through rehab or going through addiction may have if they get into a relationship with each other, or if you're going to get into a relationship with someone that's in addiction and maybe you're clean. But we're going to talk about what it takes to be in a relationship with addiction. So, first of all, I would like to introduce Kim, who is normally your hostess with the mostest. But Kim come from an addictive background. You had some abusive relationships, but you lost your kids, but you have come back and you have started projects such as March United. You have started Pages from Rock Bottom, and you are the co-owner and co-starter of the hottest new apparel shop on the market today,
Yes.
Overley T-shirts.
Whoa, dang, Jay, you done.
Yep.
Woo!
Thank you for letting me do this. And then Matt lost his father at a very young age. Kind of had a difficulty finding his way, I'll say, in a new family environment, way in life, suffered from depression, but is now a hardworking, successful young man, supportive husband, which I'm going to give everybody, all the dads, all the husbands out there, it's really hard sometimes to be a completely supportive husband. Sometimes you got to put your own stuff to the side, but he's managed to do that. He is my friend. And how long have you been clean for, Matt?
7 years, 8 years.
It's not 8 years because I don't have 8 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's got like 6.5. 6.5.
And he also helps his wonderful wife out with March United. Of course, he's the co-host of this show. And the other half of Overly Teeth. So I want to thank you both for letting me do this tonight, letting me take over.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
You're welcome, Jay.
So
Thanks for doing it.
first thing I'd like to do before we get into a lot of the questions about relationships, Kim, I just want you to give kind of a quick summary of your addiction, your past relationships, and maybe a little bit of what it finally took to get sober.
Oh God, Jay. So quick summary.
Yeah, I mean, just whatever. Just give it. I know it's a 4-hour episode, but break it down into 5 minutes.
I come from a very addictive, abusive family. Let's just say that, right? Very young age, grew up in it, became everything that I didn't want to be, right? And then got with the same type of people that, I seen, beat my mom and, and other people that I loved around me. Got into drugs at a very early age and really escalated in my 20s and 30s. I lost my children. Did 2 stints in rehab. And second time I'm here almost 8 years sober after drug court and inpatient. And I'm going to say half of transitional and then outpatient.
Yeah.
But I completed and I'm still sober today.
Nice. Thank you.
I mean, it's the truth. It was half. Like I did 3 months in transitional.
Yes. Yeah.
Then me and Matt had a wild hair. We got a wild hair up our ass, and sometimes you just outgrow things, and sometimes you just feel stagnant and complacent, and and other people see that also, and you've learned everything that you can learn, and you're just ready to grow outside of the environment that you're in. Does that make sense?
Yes.
You can only put a small plant in this little, this pot for so long until it's ready to burst out of this into a bigger home.
Hey,
So
let me bloom.
that's that's pretty much what happened. And I presented my case to drug court and they allowed me to go home.
Nice.
With a job, obviously, but yeah.
Okay, Matt. So question's kind of the same for you. Just give us a quick little rundown of your past, what maybe started your addiction, little bit of your past relationships, and what it finally took for you to get sober.
So as you said in the intro, I watched my father die at a very young age, but what you didn't say is my father was a raging alcoholic. When I was little,
That's not for me to say.
I used to mimic his behavior, and when he was taking me from us, I got a resentment towards God, and I carried that resentment for a long time.
For sure.
It led me to depression, anxiety, PTSD. Mental health struggles were real, and I never really felt like I belonged, if that makes sense. I never felt like I fit in with anybody. I would isolate myself quite often.
Oof.
So my addiction really took off when I was 15. It's the first time I tried OxyContin. Found the euphoria and escape I was looking for my entire childhood. And I always swore I wasn't going to be like my dad, but I became just like him, just with other substances. I was never into alcohol. A decade later, I I was on a mission to kill myself. I've had a history of suicide attempts. Randomly, I get popped for probation to come in and take a drug screen, and I'm already 4 rehabs in. I go take this drug screen, and I tried to fake it. Caught my F3. Dane caught me. He's like, "So you really want to piss?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." Failed for 15 out of 16 panels. The only thing I didn't fail for was alcohol. So they locked me up, and they offered me drug court, and I was like, "That's not going to be enough. If you let me out, I'm going to go right back to what I'm doing." Because at that point, I never truly grew up. I immersed myself in that life, and that's the only lifestyle I knew. Came down here in 2018, wonderful Pike County. Yeah. Met this girl at a meeting. Decided I'm gonna stay here. Which is now my wife. Past relationships.
Not good.
The closest thing I ever had to a healthy relationship was a girl in high school, and she cheated on me. It gave me a resent. Yeah, it gave me a big resentment towards women. So I would use and abuse women. Honestly, I would get what I want from them, and I don't give a shit about your feelings or what's going on with you as long as I'm okay and I get what I need, which went hand in hand with my addiction. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it.
His wasn't brief. Mine was brief.
Whatever, dude.
No, it's good. It's good. It's good. It's good. We got time to burn. It's good. It's good. It's all good. Hey, thank you. No, but that's kind of what I wanted. That's kind of what I was looking for. So let's get into some of the questions about relationships. So one of the things, and I don't know if you guys have ever heard it, but I know I have, two people that are in recovery, they can't be together, right? You can't put two people in recovery together.
Yeah,
because if one relapses, they're going to bring the other one, and I don't care what kind of recovery. It could be alcohol, it can be drugs, it can be gambling, whatever. But two people that are in recovery shouldn't be together, because if one relapses, the other one will. So, in your guys' opinion, and everything, a lot of this show is going to be subjective. But so how can two people that are going through recovery make it work like you two have?
You have to work on yourself first. Sorry, it is, you know what I mean? Because I think people get it a little bit mixed up sometimes, because if you're not working on you, absolutely isn't going to work, right? And that little cliche saying that they say in treatment, like, you have to put,
don't make a welly.
No. No, you have to put you above everything. They call it a selfish program for a reason. You have to put you first, because you can put yourself in the center of 1,000 people that you love, or 1,000 people that you know, or 1,000 people that you want to prove yourself to. But if you're not working on yourself and, making you better, that you're going to let each and every one of those people down.
I think another big part of it is what is your motives to get in a relationship, right? Like,
I mean,
is it just because you're lonely, or do you guys really have the same kind of goals in mind?
You may not have the same goals in mind at first.
Another big part is, for me, this was a hard lesson, right? Is boundaries.
Yeah.
You have to set boundaries, because
Absolutely.
when somebody tells you we teach people how to treat us, that is 1,000% true. You will show somebody what you will tolerate and what you will not, and at the beginning of a relationship, I was
shitty.
Even though I didn't physically cheat, you know what I mean? I still seek validation. I still seek attention. Which all came down to my internal shit that I didn't work on yet. But
so, when you guys were early into your relationship, like maybe when I first came into it, and you guys, you don't have a house, you're not established yet. You're living in a garage,
Yeah.
but you're making the best of it, right? It's you guys were making the best of it. Was it real difficult to, Kim, to work on yourselves? Was it hard to, do all the things that you said you were trying to do? When you're living in a garage at somebody else's house, how hard was it to do the things that you're saying you need to do to make something like this work?
I think at first, I knew what I wanted, right? I knew like what I had my mindset like already, like this is what I'm gonna do, this is who I want to become, and like these are my goals, right? I and this is no pun intended for toward Matt or anything like that. He was still trying to figure out himself and like realistically what type of path that he wanted to take in life, right? But being in a relationship with somebody, you have to support them, but you also have to set them clear boundaries, whether like, hey, this is the direction I'm going. If you don't want to go in the same direction as me, then we don't need to be, don't need to be together.
Yeah.
We can't set expectations on people either, right? Or on the relationship. I couldn't set expectations on him like, oh, you have to, you know what I mean? But this is my path. This is what I'm going to do.
If you want to follow, follow. If you don't, don't.
Yeah, I don't need you in my life. I choose to want you. There's a difference, right? So
I heard that a lot.
yes. And I didn't need it. Like I don't need somebody bringing me down. I didn't at that time. I had, already a clear head, still a clear head. But but he buckled down, you know what I mean? And he did what he needed to do. But living in a garage, it wasn't that difficult. It was not gonna lie, it was a little peaceful, especially when it rained.
Oh, fuck yeah. I miss it.
Hearing that rain on that metal roof.
No, I was very grateful. We were grateful. She let us live there in the garage. She let us use her house for, showering and all that. We had ways to cook, and you know what I mean? Like things were difficult at first, but like we worked on ourselves first and foremost, and we worked on a relationship second. But we did it together.
Got it.
I feel I can say, honestly, for both of us, like working on the relationship is a very crucial part of that, right? Because neither one of us knew what a healthy relationship was.
Mm-mm.
When it came to communication, and one of my biggest thing that I struggled with was being vulnerable.
Oh.
Right? I don't want to tell you what's going on with me.
Nope.
Okay, so this is going to kind of bounce off this. So can love, or maybe not, let's not go as far as love, but love or relationship help someone that's in recovery? And what does someone need to know about getting into a relationship with someone in recovery?
So for me, right, I got preached the whole time I was in rehab, like this can be a double-edged sword.
Yes.
You're either going to grow and thrive or you're going to sink. But they also would pound it in my head, two sickies don't make a wellie, right? So it was going to be what we made out of it. Kim is one of the first people I've ever had in my life that truly holds me accountable. No bullshit. Don't sugarcoat anything. She's going to tell me exactly how she feels and what she sees.
Double-edged sword. No, I mean, and I expect the same out of him. Like, as far as with me, like, if you see me doing something, call me on my bullshit, whether I want to hear it or not, even if I get defensive. You know what I mean? But, like, I'm a problem solver. So, I'm a control freak. And I do have control issues. I do, a little bit. A little bit. I like controlling things in my life, right? And I do not try to go outside of myself to control you personally. Don't say it like that. You can't go take a shit, Matthew, without me knowing.
I'll let Mary pass.
You know what I mean? No,
Yeah.
it's not like that. But yeah, I work on it. You know what I mean? But like holding each other accountable for the things that we see, we need to be called on our bullshit. And I think that's super, super important. Because as soon as we let each other slide on something, then that means that we're falling back into old behaviors, and we don't want that.
And those small behaviors lead to big ones.
Absolutely.
But I think another critical point to hit on is if you are going to get into a relationship in early recovery, you have to be absolutely understanding, right?
Yes.
So the more I started to learn about her, I would understand why she would react to certain things the way she did,
Yes.
or the way I talked to her, right? It's all triggers for her.
Yeah, absolutely. It was. And if he wasn't treating me like shit, I was like, damn, what did you do wrong? Like, why are you so fucking mean to me? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
It's because that's what you were used to.
oh, absolutely. And that was the norm for me, right? So, you know, you also got to understand if you're going to get in an early relationship that the past trauma and every, thing from the past usually comes with it, because we're still working on ourselves and working through those things.
So earlier, that's why we said, like, it is extremely important to invest more in yourself than what it is the relationship.
It is. It's very important, because if you're working on yourself, that means that you're going to be able to work on the relationship as well. Because you do have to have compassion and understanding for the other person's situation. But you don't have to have stupidity. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You can't allow somebody to walk all over you and take your, past trauma and everything like that and use it as a weapon against you, if that makes sense.
And you say stupidity, and I just want to clarify, because I've watched almost every episode. When you're going through addiction, what you're calling stupidity could be blindness from the drugs or whatever. I mean, it can be a lot of things. I don't.
Manipulation.
You're not calling nobody stupid, but it's just one of them things. And once you get clean, you're going to realize how stupid it was that, you put yourself into certain situations or let yourself be around certain people. But, I completely understand that.
Yes. Yeah. Education is key, for real. Like, especially if you're in a relationship and if you don't know something and you're like, man, what's really, like, why is things going this way or whatever? But educate yourself, guys. That's all I'm going to say. Educate yourself. If you don't know what a healthy relationship should look like, I still don't know what a healthy relationship should automatically look like. But I do know what a healthy me looks like. So therefore, my relationship is healthier than ever.
I know what a healthy you looks like. It looks like someone that needs to make some bread.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Probably need to bring a couple down this weekend too.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna make.
Okay.
You want white or wheat?
Definitely white.
Okay, wheat's really good.
And so, I think you guys have kind of touched on this a little bit, but I'm gonna kind of phrase it a little bit different. So, what has to be the mindset of two people who may get into a relationship that are in recovery or that want to get clean? So, you got two people that maybe are just early into it and they meet and they're both going kind of through the same thing. So what's got to be their mindset going into this? I mean, and I think you kind of touched on it. You gotta focus on yourself first, but you know how things go. If you get into a relationship, now you got to think about someone else too. So, what's got to be that mindset?
for me personally, like when I kind of told you about myself, like I never felt like I belonged, right? When it came to Kim, she was the first person I've ever connected with that I could feel I could truly be myself.
Mm.
So the more I learned to be vulnerable, like we really started to see that our minds were in the same place. Like ultimately we did have the same goals. Now, did I have fucking work I needed to get through? Absolutely. I had a shit ton. But she was also my biggest motivator to do it. She wouldn't let me sit stagnant.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's easy to get stagnant in your recovery because you get comfortable, right? And you don't want to get too comfortable. That's why I feel like my life is always chaos and it's never comfortable. And some look at that as a bad thing, but realistically it's a good thing because it's constantly got me on my toes and focusing on how I'm going to cope better with like the kids screaming while I'm trying to do work at home, or you know what I mean, or they're yelling, like you know what I mean, like you're always
Chaos makes you comfortable. Chaos is your comfort.
I don't know if it's comfort as opposed as a coping skill, if that makes sense.
Okay.
But I think also, right, I don't wish this upon anybody, and I hope it's never part of your story, but it is for mine. But after my relapse, right, that was truly the moment I decided no matter what, I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? No matter whether we don't work out, no matter what happens in my life, I decided what I want and what I wanted my life to look like.
Mm. Yeah.
Nice. So, and I know, and here we go. This is going to be subjective again, and I know everybody's different. But so, is there an amount of time that you need to take? If you're trying to get clean or whatever, is there an amount of time you need to take before you get into a relationship?
So any program,
And how do you know when it's the right time?
You don't.
you have no idea.
You do not.
But any program, any rehab, or anything like that you go through, they are going to tell you a year.
Yeah, absolutely.
We
Absolutely.
waited 2 months,
Or maybe
right?
3 or
Matt.
4.
But let's be real too. Like when we first got together, it was a booty call.
Yeah.
It was a one night stand that turned into fucking 8 years.
Absolutely. But like, I think that it's also important to understand that like you're gonna get, just like your recovery or anything else that you do in life, you're gonna get out of it what you put in it.
That's it.
You know what I mean? Like if you want something to work, you're going to make it work, right? You're going to figure out the ways. Just like if your car breaks down, you're going to like, man, I got to go, I got to go buy this part for it, right? That's the same way with like addiction or relationships or anything in your life. People really don't understand this, but I mean, or realize it, I should say. We're all problem solvers. It's just in it's our human nature.
Yeah.
So like, goes the same with a relationship. You don't want to buckle down, roll over on your back and be like, well, it's whatever the other person wants. You know what I mean? You have to set clear expectations if you're going to set them. You know what I mean? For yourself, not for the other person. It's got to be for yourself. What you're going to allow yourself to put up with, right? You got to set them boundaries. I know what I'll put up with and what I will not put up with. I'm just not going to do it because I don't want to. I don't need it. Been there, done that. And history is not repeating itself for me. You know what I mean? I don't have time for that in my life. I've wasted enough time. I'm not gaining years. I'm running out of them. You know what I mean? So, like, and the time that I do have left, I want to spend it happy and sober and free of a substance to control.
Yeah.
I hope that
No.
makes sense.
So let me ask you this. So let's say if you're in a relationship with someone in recovery, or you're both in recovery, one or the other, and let's say your partner relapses. So you're both in recovery and you have a partner that relapses, and I know you guys can expand on this pretty good. So how do you keep yourself from following suit? You know, so you guys are together, you're both going through rehab. How do you keep yourself, your partner relapsed, you guys are together, how do you keep from falling back into that trap?
Man, I mean, to elaborate on like him, he was already, you just graduated, I think, inpatient.
Transitional.
What is it?
Transitional.
Yeah. And I was about to graduate drug court. It wasn't very long. I didn't want to follow suit. You know what I mean? Like,
I think that can be one of the profounding moments for an addict, when you realize, like, it's not one of my reservations.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
None.
they will absolutely tell you that your recovery has to be selfishly selfless.
Yeah.
And you know, Kim, you said you already knew you didn't want nothing to do with it. You were done.
Yeah.
But for someone that's, but it wasn't your first rodeo either. So someone that's maybe going through it for the first time, their first rehab, and you know, hey, how do I not, this person is done the stuff that I was doing. How do I keep from doing that? You just got to bolt. You just got to go, I got to get away, or you try to help them, or what do you do?
Are you talking about me like right now, or are you talking about like
No, anybody. No, I'm talking about anybody. Somebody in that situation.
man, you know, when you first get into recovery, and if you're early in on it, focus on yourself. I'm sorry. You can't worry about somebody else and what they're doing, because you know what? You're still sick, right? We're still sick, and our mind is still stuck on going out there and getting high. And then you're going to manifest like, oh my God, what is he out there doing? Is if he's not going to come in here and, you know, get sober with me, then I'm just going to have to go back out there and see what he's doing. And you're going to use that as an excuse. Oh my God, my boyfriend's still out here getting high, or the person's out there went back out and got high. I'm going to go follow him because, you know, oh my God, magic excuses. I love this person. And you're right back out there, and the only thing that you're loving is the drugs. Work on yourself. That's, you know what I mean? That's the best advice I can give anybody, because if you're not working on you, you cannot make anything work with anybody else.
Okay, so here's one then. So how many chances, like, how many chances do you give someone in a if they keep relapsing? How many chances are you going to give someone before you go, I got to call it quits for my own sobriety and my own self-healing? How many chances do you give them?
I want to answer this because
Go ahead.
this is something that Kim pounded in my head, right? Words without actions are just that.
Meaningless.
I think it should be based on somebody's actions and not what they're saying, right? So if you truly see them putting in the effort to try to do something different, then I don't think that's an empty chance. You know what I mean? But if you're just hearing the same words and seeing the same actions, then you got to protect yourself.
Well, absolutely. But I mean, realistically, you know, I don't have any more chances in me. So, you know what I mean?
So you're a one and done. You're like, you screw up, we're out.
We're done. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't mean that I hate him or whatever. I'm
Yeah.
gonna love him for the rest of my life probably, but like that doesn't mean that I have to love him to death.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And I don't want to go back down that road, but and like they said, two sickies don't make a welly. You know what I mean? And eventually, like, if I continue, like, Matt said, and I pounded this into his head too, like, and this is a valuable lesson that I learned this last time in rehab. Like, we teach people how to treat us. And if I continue to allow him to think that it is okay that he continues to go out here and relapse and do the things that he's doing or whatever, I'm telling him and I'm teaching him that it is okay to continue to do so because I keep forgiving him for the same shit.
You're enabling at that point.
You know what I mean? Like, it's not healthy. So therefore, that tells me the relationship is unhealthy and I don't need to be in it anymore.
And I think, Matt, you just said it under your breath a little bit. You're an enabler.
Yeah. For sure. For sure.
Because you're allowing yourself to stay in a relationship that may not be healthy.
Yeah.
Right. But that's from my point of view. Like, I don't have it in me anymore. Like, and I will not tolerate it. I'm not.
I know for me personally, like the way my addiction is, especially early.
Yeah.
Like, if you give me an inch, I will take that mile.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And
most people would.
Yeah. Yes. But that goes with it doesn't not just an addiction, that's any relationship with anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't allow people, that's why boundaries are important, but we just remember that we teach people how to treat us. You know what I mean? Like, we can't, if you continue to let somebody treat you the same way and you're like, oh, it's okay. And you're like, and they're like, I won't do it again. And, and they just keep doing it a week later and then a week after that and then a week after that. And you just keep forgiving them for it. You're teaching that person that it's okay to continue to treat you that way. And you gotta set boundaries, guys. Set boundaries. Because once you put your foot down, people flip a switch in their brain. They're like, well, shit,
Well, and then I think you're going to find out, if you put your foot down, you're going to find out what your partner is really about. Are they really about this relationship and about us? Yeah. Or are they just worried about themselves and doing what they want to do to make themselves feel better? Or are they are they willing to work on us? Us as a team or as a, and that's what a relationship is. You're a team. You become a team. You're your own little group. You're your own little team, and it's you two against everything else. So if you got one person kind of doing their own thing and one person trying to do their thing, if you're not together, you don't have kind of the same goals, it's probably going to be rough to make it work.
Yeah, it's pointless. There's no point in trying to ride two different trains if you're not gonna ride the same one.
I like that.
What?
Two trains.
Yeah.
Trigger warning. Trigger warning. We weren't talking about doing trains or riding a train here. So can being with someone who's been through addiction help someone else in recovery? Do you think? So let's just do a hypothetical. Let's say if you and Matt aren't together and one of you guys meet someone that's going through rehab, do you think your past experiences could help them get through theirs?
There's another double-edged sword, Jay. I mean, it could or it couldn't, right?
Okay.
There could be so many ups and downs with that. You know what I mean? Like, I think that if you get into a relationship, obviously, whether it's you got long-term recovery and you just met somebody and you think, well, oh, I could be good for that person. That's first thought wrong, right? You don't truly know just because you guys are just alike or this, you're cut from the same cloth pretty much of addiction. You guys got that in common, right? You guys were desperate people and lonely and sad and whatever. Just because you have all these things in common doesn't mean that you're going to be able to help each other.
I think also check your motives.
Yeah.
Yeah, back to that on why you're getting that relationship, right? Are you getting with someone in early recovery because you want to save somebody? Or is it truly genuine interest?
Well, you can't save anybody. Like that person's got to save themselves, right? So, I mean, I don't necessarily, I can't say no. I'm going to say I don't know if it could be good. It could not be good.
Double-edged sword.
Double-edged sword, Jay.
But there are people out there that are looking for that next train wreck to save. You can sit there and go, you can't save nobody, but there are people out there that are trying. They're like, you've met people, I've met people, and every relationship they're in is just a train wreck because they're looking, and they're not looking for a good person. They're looking for the next train wreck to save or to stop from derailing.
Right, but what is their motives? Why do
Right.
they feel like they need to go save that person? Like, what's your motives? Like, you shouldn't have to feel like you have to go save somebody, right? That person's going to have to save themselves. And if you have that savior complex, then maybe you need to get back into counseling. Because
you got some unresolved, you ain't worked through.
Some unresolved issues, you know what I mean? Like I had daddy issues too, you know what I'm saying? I had I had all kinds of issues, but I don't think it's healthy to try to, hey, I'm going to go get this chaotic person and I'm going to save them. That's not the type of mindset you should have. If you're going to get in a relationship with somebody, it should be because, when you looked at them, something inside you, lit on fire and you had to look away. Or when they touched you, like you had these little things just go throughout your whole entire body to the tips of your toes. Like those should be the types of things that make you want to, get into a relationship with somebody, not because you feel like you should have to save them or want to save them.
Okay, so let's say if, you've gone through your rehabilitation and let's say you've been clean for 5-6 years, you meet somebody and the other person has no addiction background, not, let's just put it this way. So Kim, let's say if Matt, when he got off of work, he wanted to drink a beer or two when he got off of work. That's it. He drank 1 or 2 beers after work, blah, blah, blah. Can someone, is that okay? I mean, can you handle that? Hey, this dude's he's not an addict. He might like to drink a little bit. I'm trying to stay clean. Is something small like that? Hey, this guy likes to drink a little bit, or maybe, you could even go, maybe he wants to hit a joint once in a while on the weekends, but he's not pushing it on you. He's not saying, hey, come on out here and do this with us. He just does it, for her, she does it. How do you handle something like that? And can that work?
Back again, Jay, that's a double-edged sword. Okay, so like marijuana was never my thing. So absolutely, I don't give to, I smoked it, you know what I'm saying? But it's not like, oh my God, I can't live without it. I gotta go find a joint, you know what I mean? Like those were not like, I'm talking about I need some meth and fentanyl or heroin in a spoon, or alcohol was my fucking thing. You know what I mean? Like I was a full-fledged freaking alcoholic at the age of 19. You know what I mean? In bars all around Pike County. So absolutely, for me, no, I couldn't.
Shout out to the Grove.
I did go to the Grove.
I know.
Right? And I don't recommend it. You know what I mean? So like for me, somebody drinking, I couldn't get with somebody who likes to drink, even if they're not an alcoholic. It's because
Yep.
I know what I would do. Because I used to drink like a fish, and I loved alcohol. I mean, I absolutely loved alcohol, and I know where alcohol would lead me in a couple hours. I'd be a couple blocks over, and wherever, I know where all the dope houses are in Pike County. The next thing you know, I'm either going to go get some freaking meth, and I'm going to be shooting some heroin or fentanyl now. But that's where it would lead me. So I wouldn't even put myself in that type of situation. Absolutely not. That type of relationship is not for me. I will avoid things that I know that might take me back down that road.
So it'd be kind of a no-go. You'd be like, nope, I can't be with you because even though you don't do it a lot, I can't have it in my house, or we can't be around together when you're doing it.
It's no judgment. It's a me problem.
Yeah.
And because I know me. I can walk into a liquor store. We can go to, out to eat with you guys, and I can see you drink. You know what I mean? That doesn't bother me.
You mean watch my wife drink?
But I couldn't be in a relationship with somebody who did alcohol, because I know that if it was in my house, that I would eventually, if I went swimming in the freaking pond, I'm going to eventually drink the water.
I got you. Is that the way you feel, Matt?
Yeah. I feel like it's if you were going to do it, you'd have to have a shit ton of self-awareness, and you'd have to set some pretty clear boundaries and have an escape plan. It'd be like holding a Q-tip. Eventually, it's going to get heavy.
Yeah.
So you guys would, even after your guys' 6 to 8 years of sobriety or whatever you're on, you would still just be like, I don't even want to be around that.
Yeah.
Because it's still too tempting.
Absolutely. You don't quit becoming an addict just because you get sober.
For me personally, right, if I immerse myself in something and I'm around it every day, eventually, right, it might be a year, 2 years into it, I'm going to be like, maybe I could just drink one.
Yeah, you're going to start finding excuses to talk yourself into to do that.
My fucked up mind will justify why it's okay.
That's your addiction. Yeah. It's addiction. It's addiction. You know what I mean? When I say it's absolutely having two different people living in the same body, we fight constantly. You know what I mean? I call her bitch and I hold the key in front of her face, 90% of the time, but sometimes we have some pretty healthy conversations. You know what I mean? And I know he's laughing, but it's true. Yeah. But I know my addiction, and I know where it will take me, and I know how easily my addiction can talk me into something.
Nice. So, I kind of touched on it at the beginning, about what you guys have made of yourselves, over the years. So, how has your guys' jobs helped you, with staying clean? How much is there some kind of fulfillment about going to work every day? And I mean, it's kind of crazy because Matt talked about how much suicidal tendencies he had, and he goes, you know what I'm going to do for a living? I'm going to climb up a 200-foot tree and cut it down with a chainsaw hanging off my hip. But how much satisfaction do you guys get from being like, you guys are part of society now. You're working. You're doing. How much has your jobs helped you guys with this?
So, for me personally, like, even though that relationship was never there between us, right? you were always one of my biggest role models and one of the biggest people I looked up to. Every day I would see you put your boots on, you're going to work, you come home, you spend time with your kids, right? You, without realizing it, you taught me what a man is and how they should act and what they should do. So I'm given a second chance and the opportunity to do that every day, right? And for the first time in my life, I'm not just going to a job because I need dope money. I'm doing it so I can provide for my family and give them the life that I strive for them to have, right? And I'm fucking dependent on it, which is something I never thought would happen for me. So for that alone, that's beyond satisfying for me. And I've learned to not be so selfish, right? I go to work and I make sacrifices. I might be gone on holidays, I might be gone on birthdays, but ultimately I'm doing it for the good of my family. And for that alone, that's rewarding.
And there's some self-fulfillment there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And hey, Matt, we get to work outside.
Yeah.
It sucks. We might gripe about it in the winter. But dadgum, we look good in the summer when we're
I think anybody that works outside, you're never happy with the weather. It's either too hot or too cold.
I mean, I work in
Amen. Amen, brother. That is no fact. And living in Ohio, you can go from griping about being too cold in the morning to being too hot in the afternoon, all in the same day.
Yeah, for sure.
No,
but how has that helped you, Kim? I mean, because I know you do a different line of work, but how has your job helped you?
Oh God, listen, I loved working, at Brightview in the building. I work for Brightview, not in the building now. But it was fulfilling because I'd walk in and like these are my people. Like, the excitement, of being around people who are like-minded like you, who think like you, who've been through shit just like you, who understand, the things that you've been through is more fulfilling than you'll ever know. I used to do groups, sometimes twice a day. And those are some of the things that we were talk about is like the things that people are like, man, we don't wear the same shoes, but we have so much in common. Absolutely. You know what I mean? We
Yep.
all share the same disease, and it told us all the same freaking lies. Every one of us, that we were invincible and that we should go days without eating, and that, today a shower is not important. What's important is that next drug. Your kids ain't important. Your relationship with your family isn't important. What is important is I'm important. The drug. These are everything, everything that we shared. So fulfilling, to say the least, was, man, I miss it, right? I don't get to see I don't get to see people today. So connection for me is, this is what it is right here. So needless to say, it helped me more than anybody will ever know. And I think everybody that I ever came in contact with, because I learned something from each and every one of them. I walked away with something different every time.
And I do want to say this is you put so much time and effort into putting together March United. Is that part of it? Because hey, I get to be around people for this weekend. This is, we get to talk about something I'm passionate about. And this is something that we've done, or you two have done, or this come out of your head. This was your idea and you started it from the ground up and have grown it to what it is today. And I know you work at it all year long. So, it's your time to shine on that day. You get to, be around people. You get to meet people. You get to talk. Yeah. You get to talk.
Yeah. I get up there and I talk, and and everybody's like, yeah, and
Yeah.
it's a good day. We give out awards, and I get to connect with a bunch of different people. We get to hear some great stories, and we get to hand out free T-shirts, free food. These are the great things that we get to do once a year. Um,
Another thing for me is like, even though it's still to this day, like all these years later, like I have made that event a part of my amends process,
mm,
right? Because even though it's not in my where I'm from, I still I get to give back to a community. You know what I mean?
It's still your home right now, bud. You've been down there long enough. You can call that home.
Oh, this is home.
Same.
Anytime
Yeah.
I go back home now, it's just like, where's the fucking trees, man? Hey, where's the hills at?
Where's the trees?
We have trees.
Well, we don't have trees. Wait, I might have a metal one back there somewhere. I don't know. Yeah, there might be something back there, but
Talk about real.
where's the hills?
Like where we're from, you're gonna have a cornfield, bean field, maybe a little woods patch, cornfield, bean field, wheat field.
And
Feeding America, baby. We're feeding America.
That's what's so fucking ironic is I end up a tree guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, what role have your kids played in the success of your guys' relationship and sobriety?
Man.
I know this is a deep one. This is a deep one, but kids are an important part of this, and it's a big part of your guys' story. So, what role have they played in this?
Man, if anything, like patience. They've taught me patience. They hold me accountable. My whole I'm not gonna say my whole life revolves around them, but it does. Um
As it should.
and I mean, like, when I say that, like, it does twice a week, not in summertime, like, I go 45 minutes there, 45 minutes back with them to spend, a couple hours visitation with them, to feed them, take them back home. And then, that's my visitation. I do that twice a week. Um, I, man, I wanted and still want nothing more than to have a healthy relationship with them. Is it rocky at times? Absolutely. Do I doubt myself as a mother? Oh my God. Some there's days I'm like, man, I don't feel like I'm cut out for this fucking shit. Like, I don't know if I'm meant to be a mom. Maybe this is God saying, well, this is why you don't have your children. And it's not that I'm a mean person or I'm doing anything wrong. It's like, I just don't truly understand how to be a mom. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Nobody ever does, though.
Oh, I know.
Even the most successful parents, nobody knows if they ever are doing the right thing or if they're doing what's best for the kids.
Right, but they make me want to be better.
That's awesome.
And and even with all those ways that I feel sometimes, like, they make me want to be better. Yeah. Like, in every way, shape, or form. And they help me more than they realize. I don't think they do realize that they do, but I don't have, I still have like not a small, I still have a big piece of me that's missing. You know what I mean? I have my kids in my life. My son, I see him, my oldest son, but I still don't ever, I've never got to actually reconnect with my oldest daughter, but being able to have this relationship with them and still questioning myself because, I'd feel like something was wrong if I didn't, but, it helps, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
And Matt, you coming into this situation, I mean, it's a whirlwind when it kind of hits you. So how did it help you?
So it sounds really fucked up, but this is God's honest truth. Um, my daughter, she was born addicted. Um, I gave my aunt custody when she was 3 months old, maybe 2 months old, and we didn't talk for 9 years. Um, I've embraced her kids as my own. I get the blessing of being called dad by them, right? I use this is where it sounds fucked up. I use them as part of my amends process, not only to myself but to my daughter too, because I get to be the dad to them that I never was in a position to be for Aubrey.
Mm.
You know, and me and Aubrey we're starting to have a relationship, you know what I mean? But it's also fucked up too because I have a connection with them that I will probably never have with her.
Yep.
Mm.
And it's kind of fulfilling. I mean, obviously, I know what it's like to be a stepdad and to not have kids of your own or something like that. Yeah, I mean, you've got a kid of your own, but I know what it's like to not have any kids and just try to step in. And those dad moments are very fulfilling. They can make you, they can melt your heart. It can. It's you put a lot of things to the side for your kids.
Yeah. It's a roller coaster.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. So, Kim, I know I've asked you this on this podcast before,
Yeah.
but we're
I
going
might
to wind back to it because we're getting down to that last half hour or so. So I want to make sure I get to these.
Okay.
I want to know with your past, and just in case someone hasn't seen this before, what did you see in Matt that made you want to try to trust a man again and trust him? And what kind of faith did he put in you that made you go, okay, this guy's good enough to be around my kids?
Oh my God. He showed me kindness. That's one thing. Um, Jay, I could answer so many things about this. Like when we got together, I was a hot fucking mess, man. I didn't know, like, I didn't know what passion was or kindness or like, I, man, I just didn't know what anything was. Like, and Matt's like this, you always say he's the calm one, right? And he is until like he's that pressure pot or whatever, you know. But he is the calm one and he is kind and he was the first person to ever show me what being gentle meant or passion or kindness. And at first I didn't know how to take that, you know what I mean? Um I wouldn't sleep with my head uncovered. He couldn't grab me from behind. Like because let's just be honest, like, nothing for me as far as sex or anything like that was ever kind. It always had to do with hitting and choking and like there was never anything like there was never like nothing in a relationship was kind for me. So, um he showed me what that was. And then eventually it was love. What love was.
Mm.
Just saying.
And how was it, Matt? Was it hard for you to work around all those barriers and things that she would, if you, because Matt, you've always been a good kid, nice guy. So, like, for you to try to show affection, was that hard for you when she was jumpy about it or didn't know how to accept it?
So that's why I said earlier, like, if you're going to get in your relationship early in recovery, you have to be truly understanding, right? Because the more our connection grew, the more I understood her.
The more the walls came down a little bit.
But on the flip side of that, okay, one of the biggest things I always told her, and I repeated this to her time and time again, embrace me, right? But I didn't do the same in return. I was telling her to do something when I wasn't allowing myself to be vulnerable.
Mm.
Mm.
Mm. So, Matt, obviously, you were missing something in your life for a long time. There was something missing. What did Kim offer that kind of fulfilled you, or what did Kim offer that you felt like you were missing that made you want to stay clean? Other than, don't say getting locked in a bedroom and getting fed cheeseburgers. But, I mean, there's got to be something else. There's got to be something else to the story, that there had to be something about Kim in specific that really made you want to stay clean.
So really, it went back to childhood issues, right? Growing up, I never felt like I belonged anywhere. I never felt like anyone understood me. She was the very first person that ever held me accountable. If she didn't understand something, we would sit there and talk about it until she did understand, and she was willing to understand. Um, I've never met anyone that is so patient and kind and caring and giving. Um, I can go on and on about what she did for me. Ultimately, what it comes down for is I found my ultimate best friend in this life, and
Aw.
I'm blessed to be able to spend the rest of my life with her.
And, I think people that, I don't care if it's a sober relationship or if you're going through something, I honestly, dude, you just hit it right, the nail right on the head. If you can't be friends, if you can't just hang out together and spend the day together without nobody else around or without any of your other friends, you're probably not with the right person.
Absolutely,
Would you agree?
100%. I mean, honestly, most of the time, I'd rather not be around anyone else. You know what I mean? But, like, that's another way Kim's helped me grow, though, is like she pushes me to get out of my comfort zone. Right? I'm not a people person. I never have been. I'm a shy, introverted person. I can damn near talk to anybody now. You know what I mean?
Yep.
She's pushed me in so many ways and helped me grow that. I just love you, man.
Okay,
Love
man.
this shit.
Hey, don't worry. Hey, don't worry. I'm the same way. I'm shy. I can barely talk to anybody. Your mom has to push me to talk to new people.
Mom be the one in the back.
I was gonna say, if you could see the look she's giving me right now, she's like, "Who the heck you talking about?" Because she tells people all the time, this dude will run into a stranger at Walmart and carry on a 45-minute conversation. The gift of gab.
I got it.
Oh God, she just chimed in, said we both do.
Yeah, it baffles me.
What baffles you?
That gift.
Why?
Because in my mind, I'm like, man, I don't even know this person. Like, how the hell am I supposed to have a conversation with them? You know
I
what
don't give a fuck. That's how you get to know somebody. You have to have a
Yeah.
conversation with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna pick your brain, and without you even realizing it, like, I'm probably gonna know who you are in a matter of 10 minutes just by having a conversation and the questions I ask.
You don't know if you're going to like someone if you don't ever talk to them.
Yeah, don't judge a book by its cover. Be like, oh man, I don't like this person. But hey,
Yep.
I'm a talker, so
Okay. Well, I'm about out. What else you want to talk about now?
well, Jay, I mean, it's your show.
So let me think. I had some other stuff that I didn't write down, but I got to think about it. It's
Jay,
starting to
Jay,
rain here.
son, what's wrong with you?
What's that?
Let me flip this around on you. What was it like for you, Jay, to build a relationship? What was it like for you guys to build a relationship with two people? Well, one being your stepson and, you know, Sharon's son, but with people that are in recovery and, you know, knowing the lifestyle that they've lived and knowing like not everything about them, but like what they've done in life and where they've came from. And, you know, what was it like for you?
So, I mean, I didn't know Sharon's whole story. I knew a little bit of it I worked with Matt's dad. So I knew a little bit of the background, not nearly what I found out later. But when me and Sharon got together, it was a complete culture shock. I mean, I don't know if I could have changed my life any more than what, I went from being single, living in an apartment, having a dog. That dog was my only responsibility to keep that sumbitch alive. But and pay my bills. I paid my bills and kept my dog alive. And that was the amount of responsibility I had. When me and Sharon got together, it was a complete 360. It's one thing to have kids on the weekends, to hang out with you, because you're just kind of more like the cool uncle. To living with someone 365, every day going, my apartment was never this messy. Why pick that up, pick this up. It's hard to go from the cool uncle to being the dad, or being, hey, you guys got to do this, you got to do that. And it was tough for a while. And when I tell you I had doubts for a little bit, but I think the whole friendship thing kind of, like, you guys said, if when me and Sharon became friends, like we actually would go places by ourselves without the kids and just hang out. That's, I think, when everything kind of started to click for me personally. And we and our relationship grew. And then I could focus a little bit more on trying to be a dad. I mean, looking back on it, there were so many things I missed. But hindsight's 2020. I was very young, and at the time we were all just having fun. Things were good for a long time, for a while, until they went sideways. And I'm going to be the first one to tell Matt, I'd tell Jeff, I didn't handle hardly any of it right now. Whether, I don't know, whether, you try to turn a blind, okay, this really isn't a big deal. Matt smoking dope really isn't a big deal. This isn't really a big deal. When, looking back on it, it probably was, and I even think Matt reached out once, with some of his mental health things. Back then it was, hey, that you just gotta suck it up, bud. You've got it good right now. And, what I thought was good wasn't probably good for him. So, there's definitely some failures there. Thank God it turned out okay. But I definitely have my regrets and my failures, but at the same time, we can still always talk about a lot of the good times, you know, a
Yeah.
couple of trips to Gatlinburg, many trips to Fort Wayne, you know, just me and Matt and his brother, you know, going to Fort Wayne, just three of us going out to eat, riding go-karts, playing,
Yeah.
going to the arcade. And then, you know, doing that as a complete family, going shopping. You know, it was something they didn't really understand. Hey, we're gonna go shopping. We're gonna go school shopping. You guys just pick out whatever you want, you know. Go. It was something they weren't used to. So that was something, you know, hey, we're gonna go do this as a family. We're all gonna go, you know, go Christmas shopping together. Things like that. I mean, as much as Matt might have been going through, he can probably remember some of the good times, you know, driving all the way to Jeffersonville, go to the outlets. Holidays were always good. There was a lot of good times. There was just a lot of stuff that was missed that, you know, if I had to do it all over again, I'd have been like, oh, if I could go back in time, now I see it, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe Matt needs pulled aside away from everybody and, okay, bud, what's going on? But I didn't know how to do that at the time.
Yeah.
So it is what it is. And everything, thank goodness, worked out. So,
For sure. I think it worked out just the way it was supposed to.
well, it'd been honestly, dude, it'd have been nice if you didn't have to struggle as much as you did. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, I don't think I'd be who I am without going through that.
yeah. So
Yeah. Oh.
where in the hell did Mama go?
I'm good to go.
8:30. Bye.
So let me ask you guys this: what's your next big release for Overley T-shirts?
Oh, maybe see what the wife's got in mind. I got a couple designs I'm working on.
Do you?
Yeah, we won't branch out.
I definitely think the one you sent me Sunday, one of them that I think I asked you about to make, one of those is going to be.
Yeah, I love the way that turned out.
You know which one I'm talking about?
Yeah.
I like the first design. You sent me two different designs. I think the first design is definitely the way to go.
Makes me want to
Speaking of, is it up and running yet?
Oh yeah.
Is it?
Oh, yeah.
Where'd Kim go?
She's right
I'm
there.
right here.
We
Is
had,
is the new machine up and going?
Yeah, we had. Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Okay.
it
Oh no.
It was a late night.
was a late night, Jay.
Yeah, when I
But-
messaged you yesterday and you're like, we're trying to get this machine going. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, it was going great till it didn't.
It was going great until we needed technical support.
Yeah.
Hey, good thing you paid for it.
Yeah.
Didn't we buy technical support with that?
We
Oh,
did.
yeah.
We did.
Nice.
Jay.
Thank God.
Good thing you were like, yeah, you probably need that, Kim.
Just kind of throwing it out there.
But Jay, I do have to say this: like, you did absolutely amazing. Some great questions that you came up with on your own, guys. I did not help him.
I refuse.
But when I asked like what it was like trying to build a relationship with two people who've been in, addiction, I was talking about me and Matt.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, okay.
But
So, I'm going to tell you this. It was actually very easy because, even though I kind of was like sideways when you guys were living in the garage, kind of like, you know, but I could see that you two were happy. And Kim, I do know for a fact, it took you a little bit to get used to, like, maybe not. Sharon's easy. I know I'm kind of out there a little bit. So it kind of, my sense of humor, joking around, things like that. You could, and the nice thing, I think, it was easy because you would fire right back at me,
You got that right.
So it really wasn't hard for me to embrace you two. And I'll tell you what, I was so ready for Matt. I think just watching, I knew what he had been through and what he had been doing previous to going down there. And I was actually very excited about having a relationship for the first time with him, like a real relationship, an adult relationship, being able to call each other, ask each other questions. I mean, people may not know this, but me and him, we're kind of like Martha Stewart. We're trading recipes all the time. Hey, this is what I use. These are the seasonings I use on this. These are the seasonings. Hey, what do you do for this? What are your ideas on this? But me and Matt throw a lot of ideas off of each other. We talk at least once a week. It's really nice. And it actually was not that difficult to, once I seen how happy he was with you, it was easy to embrace you as part of the family and
Thanks, Jay.
things like that. It was. And I'm sure there's other people that would probably be like, I don't want no part of this, but I was all in, obviously. But
So, like, me and you personally, we've talked a lot about that. But, like, what was it like for you to embrace my family, right? Because we do the holidays, like, things that are missing for you. You know what I mean?
Man, I don't listen. I embrace the shit out of y'all. You know what I mean? Like,
you probably had your reservations at first, though. No? And and honestly, we didn't either, because I know when you kicked him out and we had to go get him on a Friday, and then on Sunday you're like, all right, I'll meet you halfway. I'm like, all right, we can do that. We'll meet at the Shell station. I know exactly halfway to where I know exactly the halfway point to Waverly, because I've stopped there many times. We'll stop at the Shell station and do a drop off. And I think I even told Matt, don't fuck this up, man. No, do what you got to do. Don't fuck this up, because I like this one.
there's always two sides to every story, Jay. Sometimes you just hear one. But I embraced your guys' family. Listen, I know what it's like to not have family. And I always, that's why I always encourage Matt, like, all the time. Like, you don't know what you got until you don't have it anymore, for one. It can be taken away from you in a split second. Don't, you know what I mean? Just make sure your relationship with your family is good, right?
Yep.
No matter what. No matter what. I always want him to have a great relationship with you guys. Therefore, I'm going to have a great relationship with y'all. I mean, you should know this. I'm ready to attack waitresses or waiters.
Yeah.
That's
And
it, guys. Don't take up that. I was ready to cuss somebody out, but yes. But no, it was easy to embrace you guys. There was never, like, even accept you guys as family. I'd heard some things. It's like, I'd got some discouragement, like, well, there were some things said before I even met you guys. Well, his family was never there for him, blah, blah, blah. But, like, I understood the situation. You know what I mean? Like, I understood the situation. Like, I understood the assignment. I already know. Like, I'm not going to take somebody else's opinion of somebody and try to make it out that's what the person's going to be like, right? I don't care what the other person's opinion of somebody is. It's not my opinion, and whatever my opinion is, what matters, because I make decisions for myself today, and I'm able to do that.
And you know what? And people can say I was right or wrong. Otherwise, and I've heard other people talk about their grandpas or somebody who stayed beside them through the whole thing. Look, I tried to guide. I gave a path that I thought was going to get Matt healthy. And when he didn't take it, I said, he's got to figure it out on his own. There's nothing we can do until he figures it out. And I think the first step was when he went to jail and he said, hey, he called his mom, said, hey, can you guys take me down here? Yes, I can, because Matt did a lot of that on his own. We had nothing in on that. That was Matt deciding, hey, I don't want to sit here no more. I'd rather be somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then when he left one rehab, came back to jail, and then said, hey, can we go to this other place? Yep. I mean, and I think that was maybe the beginning, because I kind of started seeing something in him. He wasn't there yet, but at least he was taking the steps to make himself better. And there was nothing I could ever do for him. I could have pounded him. I could have covered him. I could have tried to hit him from things, but he wasn't going to get better until he wanted to get better. And that's the only thing that I go, okay, it really wouldn't have mattered what I did. People can say I wasn't there for him. I was, and then I let him go. I did. I said, well, you got to figure this out on your own, because I can't do that. There's a certain limit to your own mental health and your family. My main responsibility was Sharon, making sure she was provided for. I can't do this. You're an adult. You got to figure it out. I tried. You're on your own.
There's you kind of answered your own question when you was asking us earlier, like, what do you do in situations like that? You have to set them boundaries, and you have to stop enabling.
Yes. And I did. I kind of drew a line in the sand, and I wished him the best. I did. I really hoped for him. I'm like, someday he might figure it out.
And look at him.
I know.
All kinds of shit I never thought would happen.
Yeah. Look at us now. And
exactly.
We're recovering addicts, guys. We're recovering addicts.
I'm married.
And it could be taken away from us tomorrow. Absolutely.
But that's why you live every day to the fullest.
Yeah. You know what I mean?
Because you're not guaranteed tomorrow.
We are not. But we work hard every day to be the people that we are and to stay sober. And we work on ourselves and and we help each other along the way. And then we have amazing family like Jay and Sharon, that help us as well, who believe in us. Hi, Sharon, who believe in us.
I told her I was going to make her get on camera once.
And this is what it's all about, guys. So,
my head's down.
Yeah, and you guys, Jay, you did amazing. And this is it right here. This Jay's episode, Married to Addiction, interviewing Matt and Kim.
I kind of, I only had X amount of questions. I really thought you guys would talk longer. I thought you'd be more gabby on the questions. So I might have underestimated a couple of them, but we made it through.
Well, I thought you were going to be more gabby, so I kept them short.
No, I'm the host. You guys are supposed to be the one. See, you're so used to being the host.
We did talk, though. We talked.
I know. I thought it turned out good. I'm going to rate it. I'm going to say this is probably the best episode of Pages from Rock Bottom of all time.
Show Jay some love, guys. If you guys are watching, show him some love. Tommy did a great job. But next week it has to be Matt and Kim that takes back over.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
I need somebody for the episode, so you guys hit me up.
Yes. If you or anyone you know wants to come on and share your story, please reach out to us.
Or we might just be doing a podcast on
Might be a
something.
free for all.
I don't know if it's gonna be a free for all, but we're
Free
gonna
for all.
have
Free
a
for
good
all.
conversation.
Yeah.
Good conversation.
Raw and real. Raw and real Wednesday.
We might yeah. But this was a really good episode. You know, if you guys want to like to come on and just have a conversation like we did today, I mean, let us know.
We can do that.
It's super
Absolutely.
easy.
It is super easy. Or if any of you guys would like to come on and interview us.
Anyway,
Hey, there's people that may have better questions than what I had, so
We're
see what
open.
you can come up with.
But you know, we're gonna keep this going, and I think I've got some other avenues of where Pages from Rock Bottom might be going. But stay tuned and see, I guess.
and as always, if you missed tonight's episode, it will be uploaded to YouTube, so it will always be there, and you can go back and watch it anytime.
Always.
Always.
Always on YouTube. And do not forget to go check out the new store, Overley t-shirts.
Price drop.
Price drop coming. The store, and I'm sorry guys, I have yet to get everything moved over, but if you have a past shirt that you might want, I do have all of the images and you know all the mock-ups. So if you guys want one of those made, please just let me know.
Or if you got something new and custom you want made, we can do that also.
Jay, let's see the back of your shirt, that Overley t-shirt. What's that say on the back?
You know what it is.
Yes, Stephanie, you will be getting yours. It says that tomorrow. I am not for everyone. Woo!
Had to represent.
I don't know. She said, why am I copying mom? But catch us next week for another new episode of Pages from Rock Bottom with Matt and Kim. And if anybody wants to join us for a conversation, please let us know. If not, it'll just be us because we'll be talking about some juicy ass shit.
Raw and real.
Raw and real. Some real shit, guys. So if you guys want to come on and have a conversation, please hit us up, let us know. If not, that's fine too. It'll just be us talking. You don't want to hear us talk? Don't show up. If you do want to hear us talk, then show up.
Yeah, you gotta be part.
I'll be there.
You gotta be part of our epic outro.
Yeah, do our outro, Jay.
Oh, so all right. That was the greatest episode of Pages from Rock Bottom. All right. Bye.
Bye. Okay, bye.